Welcome everybody to another Voice of Nick show, playing more Animal Crossing New Horizons. We're going to see what's going on in Margaritaville this time. Let's get an exclamation mark hype for Azure Tundra, who sent over this copy of the game. And I'm curious, we missed the KK concert, so we didn't play this game after the previous episode of this game in time for KK to appear. So we'll see what's happening today, which is like late Sunday, early Monday. I guess nothing is really going to be happening necessarily in town. 皆さん、夜分に、失礼します。失礼いたします。This maybe something like, everyone, you know, it's the middle of the night, so sorry for the interruption. ただいまのマーガリタ島の、時刻は2021年2月、8日、8日月曜日の午前の0時4分です。This time on Margaritaville Island, it's February 8th, Monday, February 8th, 2021, and it's 12:04 a.m. 今日は特にお知らせはありません。Well, today I don't have any special announcements. 今週も楽しい放送がお届けできるよう頑張りますからね。This week there's going to be some fun broadcasts being that we can send. So enjoy maybe something like you know, keep your eyes out for it. Maybe it's something like that. それでは and with that, Happy Home Academy, S rank. I don't even bother reading their things anymore. They keep sending tips, but like, why do I need tips if I just keep getting an S rank? Alright, we get a present, which is a Academy's kin no tate. It's like a gold, some kind of golden thing from the Academy. Oh, I think we've gotten one of those before. Maybe it's the word for plaque, tate. Let's take a look. Yeah, we've gotten one. We put it over our desk over here. Or not. Where did we put it? Maybe we didn't get one before. Let's put it over here. It's kind of a bummer that it wouldn't be visible, really. Okay, here's what I want to do actually. We're gonna move this to be the centerpiece of the room instead. Yeah, that's pretty nice. And I want to take this KK album and we're gonna put that into the record player. There it is. That's the one you want in there. Good stuff. Welcome Iggy Coop into the show. Let's get an exclamation mark high for Iggy Coop joining. We are playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. Getting good practice in. Doing my best. It's really impressive that the Switch accomplishes what all other modern consoles, including the PC, does not accomplish. Which is to say that if you change the system language to Japanese, it becomes an entirely Japanese system, and it'll translate, or it'll give you the Japanese versions of every game, which you can't even get on PC games most of the time. Most PC games will not give you the Japanese, you know, language version in the sense that you get you know, Japanese voice acting and Japanese subtitles and Japanese menus. Most ones will only give you a Japanese voice track, but only English subtitles. So I certainly am impressed by that on the Switch. So we don't really want... We can turn in some fossils. See if there even are any fossils to get. Oh, this guy's out right now. Who even is that? His name is Choco. I think he might have had the same name in English, actually. Yahoo! 楽しくやってる The guns. I guess that's his catchphrase. Something like, hey yo, you know, you having a good time? Something like that. This is saying like, something like, let's look for it? I'm not sure what that's supposed to be, what he means by that. 張り切ってお散歩してたらお腹が空いてきちゃったな。後で栗ご飯でも食べよう。The guns. So he's saying like, you know, after eating when I'm going for a walk, my, you know, I really work up an appetite, that type of thing. And after, I find that I have to eat I definitely have to eat something. Makes sense. Okay, so we're filling up on stuff, so we don't really want to waste too much more space. Let's put it would be nice to have a little scene over here, which we don't really have. Let's start it out with this carnival thing. That's kind of nice on its own, actually. Just like a marker of some sort. Iggy Coop saying, I can't get Splatoon to run in Japanese, however. Oh yeah, you're trying the same thing? Yeah, I don't know that it works for... I guess it doesn't work for every game, but even for it to work for one game is like really impressive. Because otherwise you have to buy like an NTSJ console or like a Japanese version of a console or mod it or something. It's just like a very surprising thing. Like I wouldn't have even expected this to work. But yeah, I know it works in Animal Crossing. I know it works in Mario Kart. My version of Pokemon seems to have changed in the menus, although I didn't actually play it in Japanese yet. It's really cool that it works for certain stuff. Alright, so let's go talk to Blathers. Yeah, let's do that. Do you speak Japanese as well, Iggy Coop? Or are you learning? Okay, so Blathers is awake right now. Or I guess we should call him Hooter, because that's his name in the Japanese version. Konbanwa, Nick-san. Good evening, Nick. Margarita 博物館へようこそ。お越しくださいました。Welcome to Margarita Museum. 私に何かご用でしょうか? What shall we take a look at this time? Actually, let's do this other thing first. お、そうですか。で、何を、寄贈してくださるのですか？ワクワク。Ah, is that so? Okay, what kind of stuff are we gonna want to take a look at here? Alright, let's do one of these first, I guess. Funamushi. Oh yeah, this is that bug that we couldn't figure out what it was necessarily supposed to be. Mushi means bug, but I don't know what the funa part is supposed to be. Funamushi. Ah, yeah. Nandemo arimasen. Oh no, a funamushi. No, it's well, this is nothing, nothing, nothing. それで、どうされます？やはり解説を、ご希望でしょうか？ Well, something like this. Do you, I guess you expect me to give some kind of explanation. 解説して which is, please explain. 聞きますか？それでは、ご本。Well, you wanna hear it. Okay, well then. 実は船をして、雑食性なんですよ。何でも食べることから、海岸の掃除屋さんなんて呼ばれているぐらいです。Well, the truth is the funamushi is something like it has to do with a being that is related to food, whether it is food or eats some type of food. The funamushi is some kind of like a okay, it eats anything around the because it eats anything, like almost anything, it's considered to be the let's call it like the cleaner of the coastline, something like that. It's like the yeah, because it's like cleaning the coastline by eating everything. Yeah, so if we are gonna construct that sentence properly, the truth is because the funamushi is maybe let's call it like a bottom feeder or something like that. It eats literally anything, and because of that, we call it the cleaner of the coastline. 海沿いに生息しているため泳げる虫だと思われがちですが、長時間の水泳には向いていません。So, around the ocean areas, these things living near the ocean I believe it's a swimming bug. So for long hours, the thing will be swimming on the water, but it doesn't go far, I believe is what he's saying. 見た目と動きの速さがどから黒いあれに似ているとよく言われます。ああ、気持ち悪い。So he's saying like, you know, seeing that kind of thing where it's speedily, moving speedily across the water, it kind of looks like a black, it makes it look dark or black. while it's doing so. So I really, that's what I always say. He said a similar thing about another bug. I wonder if this is not talking specifically about this one. And then he says at the bottom, ugh, like it gives me the chills, or like feels bad is what he's literally saying. それはさておき. Well, but, as for this thing, たとえ苦手なものであっても、責任を持って大切にお預かりしますよ. Well, even with this thing, even though it gives me great pain, it's my responsibility to protect it, and that's like an important part of the museum here. So, I'll do my best to do that. ありがとうございました. Thank you very much. 他に何かお手伝い、できることはございますでしょうか? Is there anything else that I can help you with? So now we want to identify fossils. Iggy's saying, you're learning. You've been lurking a good bit during Duolingo streams while studying yourself. Nice. Yeah, I like Duolingo a lot. It's a really good app. They recently added a huge amount of more content onto it. So we used to be like maybe, I don't know, like 2/3 of the way through when we started Duolingo. Like that's the amount of content there was now. Where we are now would be like 2/3. And now we're like 1/3 of the way through, if that, because there's like so much more stuff that they put in. And I love that they keep updating it. Iggy's saying his explanations always go over my head. Yeah, that's the thing is, these are kind of like the hardest thing you could probably do in this game in terms of reading. And I don't really expect to get most of it, but it's important to give it a shot, Because the thing about this kind of stuff, it's the same reason why when I read books completely in Japanese, I try not to read like fantasy books, because sci-fi will typically have a lot of similarities to the real world, but fantasy will use a lot of, if you think of the way they speak in Lord of the Rings, they're using a lot of proper nouns, a lot of like made up words, orcs and goblins and all this stuff. Like all these words they're gonna be things that you don't see in normal speech, so it becomes really hard to actually understand what they're talking about if it's all in Japanese. But in Animal Crossing, the nice thing is that everything besides the museum, they're speaking about things that most people would usually speak about, which is why the museum becomes a little bit harder, because they're all like more, learned words. So we give it our best shot. And when I can't come up with anything, then I make up my own dialogue, and that works too. ほほ、これは、詳しく鑑定してみないと何の化石が変わりませんね. This is well, the details for this thing. What kind of fossil is it? I don't actually know what kind of fossil it is. よろしければ今から鑑定しましょうか? What kind of thing should we look at it from now on? Should we identify it? Is that what he's saying? はいはい、では一旦お預かりして。Okay, yeah. Then we'll I'm not sure what adzukari is. Let's take a look at that one, because we've seen him say it a lot. As always, the rule with my learning in anything in Japanese is that I will not look up every single thing that I'm trying to read, but only if I see it repeated and can't figure it out from context. Adzukari shite. Keep it is the word, to keep. Wouldn't have guessed that. he's telling us to keep it then. どれどれ。ふむふむ。なるほど。I see. ほほ。少々判断に苦しみましたが、これはマンモスの頭で、お違いない。Okay. After a little bit of difficult judgment, or difficult investigation, I guess is what he means to say by judgment. This is a mammoth head. I'm sure about that. It's not wrong. マンモスはですね、巨大な牙と長い体毛を持った象に似た動物です。So the mammoth is I'm not sure what that's supposed to be, but maybe like a large animal, and it's big, long, fur-covered body, and it looked like something called a zool, but I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. It's definitely an animal. ですが、似てると言っても、現在の象の What the hell is zool supposed to mean? Zool. I don't know. Zool. Oh, he might be talking about a zool like an elephant. Zool is elephant in Japanese, but I would recognize it mostly from the kanji, which he is not using here. And that makes sense because he's saying a mammoth looks like an elephant. Okay, we figured that one out. Sometimes when they choose to use stuff that isn't the kanji, it makes it harder to understand because you can't see what he's talking about. Okay, anyway. 直接の祖先ではありません。ですが、似てると言っても So, but this thing looking like a modern elephant, it's sort of maybe he's saying like it wouldn't necessarily fit in with a group of modern elephants, something like that. Like with maybe like if they were all hanging out together. それと、一口にマンモスといってもいろいろな種類がありまして。So this thing, it's the mouth of a mammoth. A lot of things went into that mouth. You know, it would eat a lot of different things. 現在の象より、小ぶりなものから5メートルを、超えるものまでさまざまなサイズが存在していました。So modern elephant is sort of small things would come in there, but this has a 5-meter trunk, I guess he's saying, and various sized things would variously sized things would be able to, or be a 5-meter length, not trunk, I guess. Various things would pass through it, something like that. Sonzai would be like existing. 絶滅した動物の中では、割と最近まで生きてた方なので、氷付けで、見つかったこともあるんですよ。Something like, inside of these animals, until recently, living things. Living things in the ice. These things, living animals, were found in the ice. はるか昔の生物であることに変わりはないのですが、なんだか身近に感じてしまいますよね。So from long ago, these things changed over time, I guess he's saying, and they started to become smaller in size. すみません。Oh, I thought he was trying to pronounce an animal name. すみません。化石のことになるとつい熱くなっちゃうんですよね。Excuse me about that. Telling you about this kind of fossil, I got a little bit overly excited, I think he's supposed to be saying. It's the word for heated, so I think it means like overly excited in that sense. Sometimes it really helps in this game that you can see their reactions, like those kind of like the stars showing up over his head, or like him panting here. Sometimes it helps you get the context. 個人的に、買い取りたい、くらいですけど、そんな余裕もないので、見るだけで、我慢する。This is like a pretty personal. He's telling us that he can't take it from us because it's a duplicate. But he's saying, I'd like to buy this and put it in my personal collection, but it's we have an overabundance of these things, so I can only look at it, something like that. いいものを、見せてくださってありがとうございました。Thank you for showing me this great find. So that's cool. I didn't actually know that you could redo. I didn't know that you could redo the explanations until now. That's pretty cool. Iggy's saying, yeah, I only know it by kanji. Yeah, that's the thing is like the stages, the various stages of like Japanese learning is like at first it just seems like kanji is something you'd never want to learn and it's too hard. There's no point ever trying to learn it. And then after a while, it's like, oh crap, it's easier with the kanji. Like there's a learning curve past which it's like, oh wait, it's actually kanji makes it easier to understand the language than if I didn't know kanji. So that it's kind of a funny progression that's happened over our 600 and however many episodes of Duolingo. Iggy's saying, I give you mad props. I just skip over this. I'm too small brain to understand him. It's funny because like I'm grasping so much at straws with those, as you can see, like just really grasping at straws, trying to figure out what he's saying. And it's surprising how few words you actually need to understand to get a lot of, the gist of most of these sentences. Like, when I would read manga or something, and it would be like a pretty advanced part, and it's all in Japanese, and like there'll be like one word sometimes that you can get and understand like what the whole paragraph meant. It's kind of like a fun game in itself to try and figure that stuff out. What I'm trying to say is language learning is fun. I sound like an advertisement. わわ、一つじゃないですね。どれどれ。Oh wow, it's not just one thing. You have this is しかも中にはタラコレクションにない貴重な化石もthis is well one of the things in here we don't have in our collection, I think is what he's saying. It's a pretty valuable fossil. Yeah. 参りました。No, it's あなたには、化石発掘の才能があるようですね。Your ability to, maybe it means like uncover these fossils is you really have a gift for it, something like that. それにしても羨ましい。Oh crap, I think he's saying like I'm pretty jealous of you, something like that. 羨ましい, I think it's envious. マガリタ島の文化の発展のためぜひ寄贈をお願いしたいものです。This will really help the cultural development of Margaritov if you if you consider it. とにかくこちらは、ひとまずお返ししますが、寄贈のことぜひ前向きにご検討を。So this is something like this thing here is I'll return it to you, but please, if you would consider, I think he's trying to say like if you consider letting me examine them further, because he's probably saying that they're as he was saying, one of them is something they don't have. So he's like asking if I would consider donating it. Let's see if we were right about that. Oh crap, what did he just say right there? I think I skipped something. Yeah, it's definitely like mentally exhausting to talk to Blathers. It's like, even in the English version, because we voice act every single thing he says, is like pretty exhausting, but now it's doubly so. お、そうですか。で、何を寄贈してくださるのですか。ワクワク。Now I want to see what 寄贈 is what? 預かり would be to keep. I'm guessing 寄贈 is to donate. 寄贈 donation. Yep, okay. See, that's a thing where you just get it based on context clues. You see it enough in a museum where you know he's talking about donating. That's good. Okay, so he's saying like, what kind of stuff would you want to donate? So this is called a T-Rex no shippo. T-Rex tail. Shippo is tail, but again, they don't use the kanji for it, which is annoying. But that's good though, that they switch it up, because it's not that I'm mad at the game, it's just that I didn't recognize some of these from not seeing the kanji, but it's good that they don't use it, because it makes you ready to see it in multiple contexts. That's like in in Japanese, it's almost not useful at all to be able to read Japanese just on a screen, because that's only like if you only see it on one app, then you don't have any of the fonts that you will see when you're walking around Tokyo, because there's like a different font for every single shop sign. So you have to be able to read the words no matter how it's spelled or what font it's in and all that stuff. So it's really useful to have Animal Crossing keep switching it up like this. ほほ、なんと T-Rex の尻尾じゃないですか。Oh, that's an interesting colloquialism. じゃないですか。じゃないですか. So he's kind of like they're writing it out in the way he would say it. So he's saying like, this is a T-Rex tail, isn't it? ということは、やりました。T-Rex 完成です。Oh, he said, it's something about it's for the T-Rex. いや、いいですね。Oh, this is great. すいません、ちょっと T-Rex について、語らせてもらってもよろしいですか? Excuse me, but would you want me to do a little bit of explaining for the, about the T-Rex? Yeah. 語ってちょうだい. Something like, yeah, that would be, exactly what I'm looking for if you explained it. そうですか、そうですか. Is that right? Is that right? Oh, おかけください. お任せください. I just read whatever I wanted to read there. お任せください. I've never seen that word before, but he's saying something like, please, please like stick around, something like that. Because I believe that's the kanji for loiter, although I might be wrong about that. それでは5本. Well, from here, this is T-Rex はですね、恐竜時代を最後まで生きた最大の、肉食竜です。肉食竜です。Something like, so as for the T-Rex, well, this thing is, I think this is the way that they describe the Cretaceous period. Jidai would be like an epoch or a period of dinosaur times. So like, they're probably saying Cretaceous period, which is when I happen to know the T-Rex was alive. So not the Jurassic period, as most may think. So I guess that's how you say Cretaceous. Kyoryu. So he's saying until the end of the Cretaceous, it lived. This thing lived until the end of the Cretaceous period. 最大の、肉食竜です。Something like, this thing was really the biggest meat eater. I don't know what ryu would be, but nikushoku would mean like eating meat. I guess maybe that's carnivore. Maybe that's the word for carnivore. Nikushoku ryu. As opposed to just regularly eating meat. 巨大な顎と、鋭い輪で、獲物を噛み砕く。まさに、生態系の頂点というイメージではあるとですが、something like, it was a, Ago. What would ago be? I don't know. He's saying something about using its powerful teeth. Something like that. its powerful teeth, it would do something with these things. It was like a main point of the T-Rex. We're not really getting much of this. And imagine that kind of the image of this thing. All right, I'm just going to make up dialogue for this. Using its powerful teeth, this thing would really take advantage of foes' weak points. Imagine the power of like looking at the imagery of this T-Rex in its natural habitat, something like that. That's the gist of what he's saying. It's funny because a lot of times that stuff isn't necessarily wrong when you just make it up in your head. It's just that he's saying it using different words. So it's not a totally lack of useful to do that. It's not totally futile to do that. 体重が重いので素早く動くことはできなかったという説もあるんですよね。So, something like this thing's body weight being so heavy, it wasn't able to move very fast. And so the maybe like so it had to, I'm not sure what it would mean right there. It had to work for, it had to make up for it in other ways, something like that. たとえ襲われても案外、逃げ切れるの、かもしれませんね。追いかけられたくはありませんが。Something like so like there were unexpected times where it would like cut things, like hunt things down and or chase them down. Something like that. Yeah, as always, the stuff in the museum is always the hardest to read. と、まあ、こんな感じでございます。はい。Well, something along those lines. では、お預かり、したものは展示室に、飾らせていただきます。So from now on, we're gonna put with this donation, we will put this into the exhibit, and we'll display it proudly. ありがとうございました。Thank you. Good stuff. Iggy's saying it's kind of like English, looking over a large block of text and picking at a few words to get the context for the whole read. Yeah, basically it is that. Samuel Carmody saying, gotta say, Nick, I can't often be around for the Japanese Animal Crossing streams, but I enjoy seeing you learning and practicing. Well, thanks for coming by. Yeah, it's a bit late on my end of the pond, but if either way, I appreciate that. Iggy's saying, I feel like it's not too off, though. Yeah, debatable. We don't, you know, we'll see how off it was. But the interesting thing to me is that it's important to never, it's, you know, it's not like I'm doing this and then I'm looking up the answers. Like, that's the thing that I think is important to wean myself off of. When I first started trying to learn Japanese, it was always like, if I was going to do anything like this, then after trying to read it, then I would have to look at what the correct version was in English right after. Almost like I was taking a test in school, and then I was seeing what the correct version was. But the way I look at it now is that it's important to live life like a child lives their life, which is to say that a child doesn't most of the time get the answers. They just have to live knowing the language imperfectly. And all that stuff where we try to like immediately get the answers right after we look at it is only because we are insecure about the fact that we are supposed to be adults who know what the words are. And we feel, you know, like we shouldn't go through this not knowing what they are. But for me, I'm trying to force myself to be like, okay, well, I'm never going to know what the correct version of that was. Like, if I hear him say it again and I know the language better, then I'll know. Just like if I read a book when I was a kid and then I read it again as an adult, I would know it better. But there's no situation where, like, I just go like, all right, I'm going to look at the translation of everything Blathers said during the T-Rex thing. Because that would basically negate the quality of learning. Alright, so let's sell this. Uchao! So this is, Samushiri Burantia. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. Boshu. I don't know. Burantia. Huh. Still trying to think about it. Ladies and gents, though, that's going to do it for Animal Crossing New Horizons. Thank you for watching the show. The channel you're watching is called The Voice of Nick. On here I stream 3 times a day, 7 days a week. We play story-based games, and if you want to see which games those are, you can type !games in the chat. If you like what you saw today, don't forget to hit that follow button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.